daily wage. You can afford to take a taxi to work and back home every day, but what's the point of wearing good-looking shoes if they will still leave your toes pained? You're irritated by almost every little thing, even the way your boss's overfed kids play. And you realize with a terror that while you were grieving lost dreams, time was whiling away. But it's not so bad. You're in love with a boy in the city. It'll be 11 months in June. He doesn't smile at you like you're something special or send you good morning texts like he used to, but that's okay. Your biological clock is not ticking yet. You're only preparing for when it sounds louder than a church bell. And at the end of the day, you take your clothes off and stare at yourself in the mirror, wishing you could hang these skin and bones on the dressing chair, disgusted at yourself for going to sleep yet another night, having such brilliant ambitions. Yet, no results. And at the other side of town, there's a boy living in a man's body, gutted at the fact that he's a multifaceted God who can't bring to life his own subjects, a King Midas who can turn everybody's copper to gold, everybody but his own. And he feels he's labored hard enough, so surely he has a prize to claim. He thought that by now his name would be stuck on the lips of people, but he can't even get them to remember his name. And he doesn't even want to wake up anymore, because what's the point of getting out of bed when you're going to get back into it? What's the point of aiming any higher when you can't even win the small battles? And you can recognize me in the crowd because you can see me in you. Hope sounds like a faint rumor, like someone tried to shout it from the back of the room, but even his throat could tell that it was a lie, so we stifled it before it could come out. We are a token of a broken generation that have gotten used to living wounded. Our talent has been snuffed out before we can light a small dark corner. But it's not too late to try again. I know because I swore seeing another sunrise would be a miracle, and now look at me, watching the rays bounce off my face. I know because we keep walking into the fire like we've never been burned. I know there is hope, because there's an echo of God in a room full of sin. I'm the second best poet not enough people have heard of. The first, that was God. For carving out a body this perfect, I develop insecurities on behalf of other people. I have been crying oceans into pages, praying to God in sign language, begging to make sense of just one word. Yet, there's something about the way an open wound aggregates and remodels to repair itself that tells me that we're here for something much more than living wounded. So this is for the ones who can't keep the rules, for the ones who wear far too many faces to hide their blues, for those sleeping off their lives and living in their dreams, for the poor souls who are forgetting how to dream, for those burning with a mania and calling it a brilliance, for those swatting demons off their backs and making it look like a new dance. For us who were promised the world and then crippled, so we had to crawl, for the contrived, depressed, ready to concede to a draw. For those falling off from exhaustion and calling it a catching of the Holy Ghost. For those sniffing fear and pretending like it's a healthy dose. Come. Hold my hand. Let's walk into the light. And by God, you see how fucking amazing you're meant to be. So that's the first poem. And thank you. I can see the snaps.
Absolutely beautiful.
Okay. Thank you. And that was titled Generation Y.
Generation Y.
Yes.
Is it a YWHY?
It's just the letter Y for millennials. Like we have Gen Z and we have baby boomers. This is titled Gen Y. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very beautiful piece.
Yeah.
And well spoken, well delivered. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to jump into the next poem and then we'll take any comments after that. So that would be fine. This poem is, when you listen to it, it's the target is more for women, but it's also a message that men can also take from. But you know, this world that we live in, the expectations of women. You're supposed to look a certain way. You're supposed to talk a certain way. You're even supposed to dream a certain way. Your ambitions are supposed to be a certain way as a woman or as a person. And it becomes very hard to love yourself. And I think that's what motivated or inspired me to write this poem. So this poem is titled Love Yourself. And yeah, here we go.
All right.
Chip, chip, chip. Chisel approximately 3.5 inches of flesh out of the waist area. Lift the breast to a firm position until it is perky in a perfect decap. Our 3 layers of flesh until the backside can vibrate with a single poke. Tone the leg muscles until men can see their reflection in your gleaming skin. Chip, chip, chip. Soften your muscles. Don't be too boyish. You don't want to have kids? There must be a glitch. You cannot be too skinny. You cannot be too fat. You cannot be too itty bitty. You can't have boobs that sag. You cannot have a small ass. What's there to hold? You cannot love yourself until somebody says so. You can only love your stretch marks when it is a map for a man to find your tucked away treasure. Pit women against each other. Let's find out who is fresher. Tell women they are the queens and then go right ahead and be the crown. Checkmate. There goes the clown. You cannot want to have it all. You cannot follow just one path. You cannot use too much makeup. You have to look natural, but not the kind of natural that makes it look like you just woke up from a 36-hour sleep. Everything you do is a free license for critique. You are to swallow your pride like it doesn't have a sore aftertaste. You are to be the perfect balance, not too acid, not too alkaline. You are to be a conscientious being who meanders perfectly between being soft and hard. You are to be a funky Friday night, mixed with a tinge of Sunday calm and a hint of Monday seriousness. You are to be all the colors of the rainbow at the same damn time. Everything you do is an open invitation for condemnation. So go ahead and love yourself anyway. Love the brown and the bounce out of your skin. Love the unholiness of your lips. Love the awkward teeth and the ugly feet. Love your high-pitched laughter and how it grinds everybody's gears. Love the intricacies of your mind and how it keeps you up all night. Love the parts of you you are waiting for somebody else to love before you learn to love yourself wholly. Everything you do is an open invitation for condemnation. So go ahead and love yourself anyway. Thank you.
Well done, well done.
Thank you.
I mean, we cannot overemphasize it. Loving yourself is the first thing. But someone may also ask, why don't you love the next person first? Then you can love yourself.
Someone will also ask, can you repeat that?
Yeah, why don't you love your neighbor, the person right next to you? And so when you are loving yourself, why not in that approach?
It's not contrarian. I don't think it's something that has to precede another. Just because you love yourself doesn't mean you shouldn't love your neighbor, or like one should come before the other. But I think, and maybe I don't think I speak only for myself, but I think for most people it's easy to be kind to the next person than it is to be kind to yourself. And we are more harsh of ourselves, we are more critical of ourselves, and we are more unkind to ourselves than we are of our neighbor. And it's so much easier to love yourself. But you know, even as a woman in Ghana, like if you're walking the streets, you just have people calling you names, oh Bolo, or there are names for all of these things. It's not
Or
just
anything
image,
you could
or like a
come up
certain
with.
woman, if you're ambitious, you receive, everything that you do, there seems to be drawback against it. So this message is generally, regardless of how the world sees it, how society sees it, how your family members may see certain things, loving yourself is important. I don't think it's something that has to replace loving your neighbor, or it has to come before you love your neighbor or after you come your neighbor.
Yeah. How would you separate loving yourself and then selfish love?
So
I'm asking
what
too
do you
many
mean by
questions,
selfish love?
right?
What do you mean by selfish love?
Selfish love in the sense of, okay, so let's say I need to help someone with their chores, whatever it is, or someone has to go through hospital, for instance. Okay, that's the best example I could come up with, coming from a medical background. And let's say you have had to work so long the entire day, the day before, and you getting up to meet the person and help the person through the whole medical process will be hurting yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? Will be depriving yourself of sleep, not casual sleeping in, but like real sleep. You slept just about 4 hours the night before. Would you say you are being selfish if you decide to sleep, get your enough sleep, or you are
I
doing self-love?
I think there's a difference between being selfish and there's a difference between loving yourself. The example, there's this common saying that you cannot pour into others when you're empty. And so if you're exhausted and you can't do something, that's not being selfish. That's taking care of yourself. So like you said, if the example was casual something and you know that it's something that you can't do and you decide not to do it, that's selfish. I don't think you can qualify that as selfish love. That's just plain selfish. But if you're exhausted without sleep, you're deprived and you can't function normally or well enough, and prioritizing your sleep so that you can be able to work better, that's taking care of yourself. So I think being able to distinguish between those two helps.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for clarifying
Thank you
things in
for
my
having
head
me,
for me.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you. Do we have anyone else?
I think I saw some questions. I'm just gonna
Well, they were all very nice remarks, a whole lot of them saying well done, beautiful piece,
Someone,
love it,
yeah, I would like to
that's
hear the story
amazing.
behind the second piece. Is that what you asked?
Could you come again, please?
One question was, I would love to hear the story behind the second piece. Is that what you asked her already? The story behind the second piece, the second poem?
Not necessarily. Let's see what Poetry Asantewa has to answer that. Poetry Asantewa?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get the question?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So the story behind the second piece, I wrote that piece I think in 2016, if I'm correct, late 2016. And I think that Ghana as a country or as a society, we are slowly having conversations about the role of women and the participation of women, especially when it comes to feminism, and kind of defining for ourselves who we are, or what feminism means to us as a country and as a people. And there are issues which are faced worldwide, and for some places it's not a big deal, but for some places in Ghana, there are certain things that women can't dare to participate in, and if they do, they receive backlash. Even till date. I think last year there was a minister, a female minister who had some sort of scandal about a marriage thing, and the insult that was used for her was, "That's why your husband left you," right? And just recently, a few months ago, we had another minister whose girlfriend apparently leaked a video, and those same measures weren't, to him, and it just goes to show that there are certain things in which, and I think that's the conversation is still ongoing. Women aren't asserted the same values as men are in certain circumstances, and I think it just makes it hard. It makes it hard to be who you are in full capacity. And so these were the things I was thinking about when I was writing about the poem. I was thinking about it in my own personal context, and in the context of the women in my life, the women in my community, the women I see on TV, the women who look like me, the women who sound like me, the women who have names like me, just kind of putting together all the things that they face or that they are uncomfortable about, and then writing that poem to say, in spite of all this, we have to find it in ourselves to love ourselves. And we need to define for ourselves what qualifies as self-love. So yeah, that was kind of the story behind that poem.
All right. That was. Are you fine now, Kobe? Is your question answered, Kobe? Okay. So one recommendation from Winnie. Winnie was saying you should audition with is it a Chi Town Chi Town Theaters? Heard of them?
Yeah, I've performed in a couple of places in Chicago. No theater yet, but I've done a couple of shows in Chicago.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, well done.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone? If we don't have any more, please we'll go right on to Alfred. Okay. Let's see. I'll mute you in a bit. All right. Yeah,
Hello,
Alfred.
everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So, thanks for this opportunity first and foremost.
Pleasure.
I'd like to say it's a very great privilege to be on the same platform with very distinguished poets from across the globe. We have great people, and I'm really, really humbled and honored to be here this evening. So I'm also doing two spoken word pieces, and the first one I'm going to do, I just wrote it. It's not in my head. I just wrote it, and it's titled "The Hope to My Freedom." The hope to my freedom. Jesus, the hope to my freedom. So that's the first piece I'm going to do. So yeah, if I may, should I?
Yes, please.
So, and this is the beginning of the end. Our hands tied behind our back, trying so hard to step out of the dark. The hands of sorrows the enemies lend, the foul ball the fowlers send, sojourning our hopes that our feet may wake, trading our faith for fears our hopes we bake, darkening the innocence being within, strengthening ties with forces unseen. The sojourner's creed well decreed, the rise and sets of the sun, the sighs and depths of our hearts, the phenomena of our hopes elucidated, the arena of our hopes calibrated. Indeed, we are living in perilous times. It's time to draw back to the cross to cross out the wickedness of the world, that the world shall see that there is power in the word and grace in the spirit. There is power in me. Oh yeah, I feel it. Our hope is in Jesus. Oh yeah, I said it. In a world of perversion, diversion, deception, and a life full of temptation, our minds, thoughts, and beliefs are constrained by a binary thinking. Our problems weigh us down. Oh, yes, we are sinking. Man prefers to believe what he prefers to be true. And the day they admit they are wrong is when the moon turns blue. Yet in this imperfect world, there is still a God who is pure and true. He is Jehovah, my God, and there is none like you. He was the one who set out the field. The field is set to fill this place. He builds the foundation of this world. He built and set out its layers. He changed the orchestra of life and said nay to the naysayers. He is the custodian of the full peace. The fool's peace is in the hands of the soothsayers. He created the world's masterpiece out of the world's greatest chaos. He is the game changer. The fall of man orchestrated by the enemy was the reason for man's death. The law of grace demonstrated by the Son was the reason for the rebirth. He remains unshaken, unmoved, and unscathed. So I will never be forsaken, nor moved, nor sacked. He's the fugitive of the law, the price on the cross. He's a relative that stands at the door. If I don't let him in, my death is my own loss. With him in me, my hope comes alive. Freedom, freedom, I'm free indeed. Release the desires that burn in me. The war is waged, my soul is ready, and the weapons of our warfare are well hidden. Freedom, freedom, the world shall see. Hail the Savior, our fears are forbidden. Hail the King, our soul, and our souls shall sing. He is indeed the hope to our freedom. That is the end of the first
Well
piece.
done. Well, that's the hope to our freedom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus,
So
the
as a
hope.
Christian, Jesus, the hope to our freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful one. Well done.
Thank you.
Of course, we all would agree that Jesus is the whole motivation behind it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But could you take us to the very should I say scenario you were in that prompted you to talk about freedom in that respect?
Okay. Yeah, so I think the theme that you sent, that you directed me to was hope. So when I was looking at hope, I was praying about it. Anytime before I write these kind of spoken words, because I know it's to make impact and
Mm-hmm.
influence people. I pray about it first. So I was praying about it and I was meditating on the word, and so I was thinking about hope. And I was thinking about why people have lost hope. So if you see the beginning of the piece, I was actually talking about how it's as if we are in a dark place. We don't see the future, but then there is hope somewhere for us. So this is just to project that it does not matter what we have lost, so long as we have Jesus, we have hope of freedom. We have hope of freedom. So that's basically it. So Jesus is a hope that we need to break out of obscurity, to break out of a shell that we find ourselves in.
Wow, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Because I was actually talking to someone today that, I even forgot that tomorrow is a holiday, right?
Okay.
And normally holidays you would have remembered because that means you were working the previous days, and then
Yeah.
you look forward to a holiday where you actually want to go out. Like that thing is
Yeah.
not even in my mind right now. I'm just waiting for that day I could actually spend some good time out there. That's my freedom right now. That's what I'm searching for right now. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. Well
Right. Thank you.
said. Well said. Anyone else?
So
Kindly put your hand up and I'll unmute you. Anyone? Anyone? All right.
I should
Alpha,
go
you
on to
can
the
get
second.
on. Yes.
Right. So this one is also titled the chief Jesus, the chief cornerstone. Now the reason why my references have been Jesus is because of how I define spoken word. means God's own words, words meant to be spoken. Spoken are His words, the spoken word. That is how I define spoken word. So mostly in my pieces, before I end, I say that. Now I'm actually on a Jesus series, and that is something He's laid on my heart to do. So most of the pieces that I write lately are directed to that theme. So Jesus has been the focus of it, and He has been the word behind it. So this one is titled Jesus, the Chief Cornerstone. Can I go on?
All right. Yes, please.
The foundations of the world are shaken because the laborers rejected the stone. The walls of the world are breaking because the builders rejected the stone. The stone which will become the chief cornerstone was the backbone of the craftsman's home, the Rock of Ages. Sliding through the pages of the ancient scrolls, seeking to find the findings and the stages of the ancient scroll, aeons old, has outlived all other stones. The stone on which Ezekiel prophesied to the dry bones. We need to touch the holy sanctuary with our feet soles so we can save our dying souls. But you see, we have become our own foes, and only God knows where your soul goes when you don't stand on your spiritual toes. For we wrestle against flesh and blood. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the system of the systems of this world, the principalities, causing many insanities and fatalities, the powers, breeding a generation of cows, but decorating them with deceptive flowers, the rulers of darkness, infiltrating our minds with madness and blocking God's kindness, the wicked spirits in the heavenly places, falsely accusing men to their faces and forcing the elect of God to abandon their races. But we will not be shaken, for we are a chosen generation, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I made an honest confession, so I will not be forsaken. I will not be forsaken even if sin writes me down with this compulsion, because I'm already taken. I'm already taken by God through salvation and redemption. So no more faking. No more faking when liberation has broken the shackles of bondage and has given me a famous adage that Christ in me, the hope of glory, He is the cornerstone. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Please, if you leave me alone, I'll end up talking the entire time. Oh. Well, I always have something to say. I'm picking this from Hannah. Anyway, yes. So what I was saying I got from this was not keeping our eyes on the cornerstone. We are in the midst of a lot, but seemingly not a lot. A lot, but seemingly not a lot. You could easily be swayed away with all the many informations, be it true or false, all that keeps going on back and forth. However, I thank you for bringing my mind back to the fact that Jesus is the cornerstone of it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I get from that. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so Didi is saying this Jesus series should come out as an album. You want to hear it everywhere. Okay, so I'll send his link. Okay, yeah. And I find let me take this opportunity to congratulate you again. So just last week, Alfred premiered his first video on his YouTube channel. I'll send a link to us. That was which one was that? Could you
The mystery.
Jesus the Mystery? Yes, yes, yes. That was a really, really powerful one. It was full of a lot of stuff. Like, yeah. So I'll give us the link, and we can all congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And do, let me see. Yeah, Didi is right. We'll follow each other And from here, right, let me pull up my WhatsApp line here. So if you're not already on the discussion page, kindly send a hi to this WhatsApp line, and then I'll add you to our discussion platform. There we share all our handles, all the information and everything else. So there it is, my WhatsApp line. You could kindly add a +2 3 3 for everyone else who is not here in Ghana. Kindly send me a hi. I'll respond, and then I'll add you to our WhatsApp page. Okay, well done, well done. Someone is asking for, okay, someone says, wow, love the meaning you give to the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Someone
yeah.
says they love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So Marie.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very soft spoken, so I'm gonna try and be loud.
That's
Um,
fine. I think
um,
I like to think I'm soft spoken, so that's absolutely fine.
oh yeah, same here, and I'm Kenyan, which makes it even worse. All right. Um, all right. So, hi everyone. I'm Marie Shabaya, speaking to you from Nairobi. So the poem I'm doing, I haven't actually written, but it has a special significance to me because it's given me quite a lot of strength throughout my life, especially as a writer, especially as someone who wanted to get into kind of like literary arts and journalism and that sort of creative career. Um, and it's from a guy called Charles Bukowski, and he was a
Could you
German
come again, Charles?
Bukowski.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was a German American poet and writer. And one thing about him is that his entire life he was completely misunderstood and misjudged. People said he was an alcoholic and a gambler and a good for nothing. Um, he worked menial jobs. He was an electrician and he was a farm laborer. And for almost 20 years, he worked for the US Post Office. Uh, but unbeknownst to everyone, this man woke up every day without fail for 50 years at 3 in the morning and wrote until 6 a.m. before he'd go to work. And it was only after his death that we found out that this man, that a lot of people did not understand, happened to be one of the greatest literary minds of the 20th century. So he got his big break when he was 50 years old. Yeah. You imagine having started to make an attempt at a writing career in his 20s. So you can imagine 30 years of hard graft and finally getting that recognition in your 50s. He ended up dying in 1994. He was 73. And on his death, he basically took up all of the work that was rejected from the time he started writing in his 20s all the way to his debut. So basically his literary estate, and he gave it away to the public. It was published in various manuscripts, and it's available for young writers as well to learn from. So I've looked at a lot of his work and seen his progression, and a lot of his early work from his 20s actually advises young writers on how to keep the faith, because the door will be shut in your face over and over again. People are gonna say no. People won't understand what you're trying to say. People won't understand your work. And one of those volumes that came out of his work after he passed away is called what matters most is how well you walk through the fire. It became a New York Times bestseller. And today, what I've done is basically written a super poem from the entire volume of books, just to give you an idea of how powerful his words were. So this is a poem that technically these aren't my words, but I have reconstructed an entire book of poetry to give us all hope, especially if you are a writer, especially as you move through the creative arts as a writer, as a journalist, whatever. Understand that you're doing the right thing, and even in times of loneliness and disencouragement, here is some strength you can always return to. All right, let me start the reading. What matters most is how well you walk through the fire. A spoken word kaleidoscope of early works by Charles Bukowski. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe even your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it, and you'll do it. Despite rejection and the worst odds, it will be better than anything else you can ever imagine. Go all the way. There's no other feeling like that. You'll be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it, do it, do it, do it, all the way, all the way. You'll ride life straight into perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is. And you want to be a writer? It's that kind of war. Creativity kills. Many go mad. Some lose their way and can't do it anymore. A few make it to old age. A few make money, but most of them starve. It's that kind of war. Casualties everywhere. I like to think about these people. They taught me so many things that I never dreamed of before, and they taught me well, very well. When it was so much needed, they showed me so many things that I never knew were possible. Those friends, they're deep in my blood, who, when there was no chance, gave me one. Odd, you walk through the fire. I like to think about these people. They taught me so many things that I never dreamed of before. They taught me well, very well. When it was so much needed, they showed me so many things that I never knew were possible. Those friends, deep in my blood, who, when there was no chance, gave me one. Odd how you walk through the fire. You walk through the fire as an interlude. You have to walk through the fire. Too often people complain that they have done nothing with their lives. And then they wait for someone to tell them that this isn't so. Look, you've done this and you've done that, and that's something. You really think so? Of course. But they had it right. They've done nothing, shown no courage, no inventiveness. They did what they were taught to do. They did what they were told to do. They had no resistance, no thoughts of their own. They were pushed and they were shoved and they went obediently. They had no heart and they were cowards. They stank up life. They stank up life. The only thing that does matter, indeed, the only thing that will matter is how well you walk through the fire. Thank you. Yep.
Ooh, well done, well done. And I like the whole solemn packaging. Very good delivery. You spoke a lot about Charles. I didn't get it right. Could you please text it for us in the chat box? You spoke a lot about him, but I still have questions. The little I gather from what you said is about artists who are, so to speak, still in the process of making it. They've not made it yet, and say they are struggling artists. Do I get it right?
Yes, but I guess it applies to everyone really within, because I guess
Okay.
you never really do make it as an artist. Every time you put something out, right, it will be judged. It will be judged well or harshly. So it's just to give you encouragement that everything you put out there will not be liked, you know, for all the hours you put into certain pieces of creative endeavor. Do it for you.
Mm.
Do it for the fact that you're doing it for yourself, and not no one else.
So my actual question is, like you're saying, do it for you. Don't listen to what people are saying. The people are still going to be your customers. They're still going to be your audience. They're going to be the people who are going to purchase it to bring you some income.
Mhm.
So what if these same people are not liking what you are doing? You still want to continue doing what you are doing because you want to please you?
Mhm.
How is that going to help? Because especially in Africa here, you need to survive. You need to get some money to survive.
Of course, and I think that is the thing. And as I said in my intro, for 30 years, Bukowski wasn't a full-time writer. He worked at the post office. He was a farm laborer. But it was only after his death that this man became celebrated, and his entire kind of um, estate was said to be, this man was the greatest literary mind of the 21st century. And you're just like, if he didn't go that way, you know, if he didn't create for the sake of creation's sake, we wouldn't have the work that we have. And we're looking at as well, like a lot of the African writers we have that we celebrate today, and I'm talking from the 1950s, 1960s. Guys were working odd jobs. They were teachers, they were professors, they were accountants in order to write the books that we now enjoy today. So it's all about the quality of the artistic endeavor you're putting out there. Don't do it for the money, do it for the legacy of the work that you're creating.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. We try to follow our passion. I know what brings in the money, but at the end, at the end, you could find emergent points for the two,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
yes, that's what I believe in, and sometimes it's a means to an end. You may have to do something you don't necessarily enjoy to get to do something you enjoy in, say, your early pension days or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. What do they say? It's like, do what you have to do until you do what you want to do. I think that's like my metaphor in life. Just do what you have to do, and one day you'll get there. So yeah.
Could you come again? What do you do? What do you do for a living?
What do I do for a living?
Yeah.
So I'm a writer. I'm also a
Okay.
journalist, and I'm also a communications specialist. So I do multiple
Uh, what
things.
specialist?
Communications. So I do public affairs, public relations work as well, thought leadership.
Oh,
Yeah,
then I must say you are
working on my
practicing what
breakthrough.
you
What?
you practice a lot of what you study, because we are not seeing your face,
Uh-huh.
but I am getting a lot from not even getting to see your video. I mean, your video is off, but I'm getting a lot from it. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Yeah, sorry. In Nairobi we have like really tacky internet. I'm afraid if I switch on this end, I will drop the entire call. It's happening.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. Let's see if there's anything for you. Okay, so it says good from Kofi Bediakon and Ali Darima. Ali Darima was the one who came. He says that's amazing, Marie. And I guess you can also read it. Everyone else, yeah. A great delivery of poem with an important message. Yes, that's right.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Winnie says, encouraging, he made a breakthrough at 50. That's Charles. Sometimes I'm tempted to think these kind of stories cannot play in our setting, the African setting. But when there's a will, there's a way.
You might be. You might be the African Bukowski. You never know. It's all about willpower now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
Great one.
Thanks very much. I'll
The
have to
title
go
again.
early, but it was great being here. I will leave my
Marie,
number here on the chat because I have to drop off. Let me leave my WhatsApp number here, and you guys can contact
okay,
me. But it was great to meet
okay.
you all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So Sylvie will be next. Okay, I'll unmute you in a second. Give me a second.
All right.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you for this opportunity. I'll do one piece on suicide. All right.
Okay.
When Michelle told me about this, there was this story trending about a doctor who had committed suicide in the US, and it just like reminded me about so many things. And I think during this time, a lot of depression cases are on the rise. I mean, if you're on lockdown for as long as it is, you're separated from people that you love, you're separated from the things that you love. It's easy to be thrown into depression, and suicide is always something that people think about. And nobody is immune from depression. There's no guy or no manly thing that can sort of protect you. For everybody can be depressed at a point in time. But then I just want to remind us that any situation that we find ourselves, there's always hope. There's always hope. And we should cling to that hope as much as we can, because pain is always temporary. All right, so then that's basically it. All right, so I can start, right?
Right on.
All right, so I'd just like to do with a little bit of background music, just
Okay.
to set the mood. And because I'm into
Okay.
theater, I might be a little bit dramatic.
That's very much allowed.
Can you hear the music?
Yep.
I don't understand. I don't understand why everybody is trying to break us apart. I don't understand why everybody is asking me to depart from her. I don't understand why nobody wants me to be a part of her when she's the only one who has shown she wants to be a part of me. When everybody else treated me like I was some spare part with nothing to spare, she treated me with tender, loving care. She promised to take away my despair. Her words, they were soothing. They were like candy to my ears. They were sweet. I think they gave me diabetes because I died to the rhythm of its beats. Her words, they were soothing. They were food to my soul. Every time she spoke, I cruise controlled into her arms as if she was a magnetic pole. Call me LG, because she was my remote control. Every time she sang to me, my life became good. So I don't understand why nobody wants me to be in a relationship with her. Look, let's be fair. You enemies of progress are the same people who introduced me to her. Your words and your actions, your judgments and your stone-hearted condemnations, they ate me up like an emotional cancer. Your heart breaks, your belittling, your disregard. I ate them for dinner and I swallowed them for supper. They were difficult for me to stomach, but I couldn't throw up because I was not bulimic to your words. They hurt me. You ignore me. You treat me like Cain, and now I'm wondering, will I ever be able to find my life? If you tell me, say you love me, can't you find any painkiller? They call it poison from taking over me because I'm shattered. I'm suffering. Depression. It's the loneliest place anyone could ever find themselves. If all of this was an animation, call me Elsa because my life is frozen. Depression is like a benign prostatic hyperplasia. When it wraps itself around you, you can't flow. You are alive, but you're no different from a tomato. You are a vegetable. You go through the motions, but that's all you do. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of living. So yes, I'm going to accept her proposal. I'm going to ask her to be my wife. She said that if I give her my life, she would be my midwife. She would deliver me from all of this labor and give me eternal life. So suicide, I love you. If murder is what you wrote, then allow me to be your bookworm. I give you my life in exchange for the peace you give to all those you have left deceased. Tell my roommates that I'm sorry he's the one who had to find my body. Tell my parents that I'm sorry I couldn't grow up to be the person they always wanted me to be. Tell society that I'm sorry I failed. And then tell depression that I said, well played, she had me. But wait, before I put on this ring and get married to you, suicide, are you sure all hope is dead? Because if I run away with you to the mountainside and find out that you lied, hope is still alive. I'll be mad, I'll be hurt. Because hope, she also promised to be my bride. She told me to hold on for her because pain ends. She told me that someday I won't remember this pain I thought will last forever. She told me that it's always darkest before dawn. She told me that even in the darkest night, it will end and the sun will rise. She told me not to give up because I am braver than I believe, stronger than I seem, and smarter than I think. She told me that life always offers a second chance, and it's called tomorrow. So suicide, I think I'll take my chances. I'll live to fight another day. All right.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Dramatic indeed. I saw Winnie there. Winnie couldn't believe her eyes or her ears. You know, whenever you laugh, it reminds me of the meme you posted on the page. Anyway, yes. Thank you.
All right, don't mention it.
SOP. So you decided not to go with suicide. You decided to take your chance with hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it couldn't get too bad.
Yeah.
Yes. You're better off taking some chances, right?
Yeah, with hope.
Yeah. So Andy Nate says, well done, consultant. Hey, hey, hey. If Andy is calling you consultant, then you must be consultant indeed.
Hey, consultant, I greet you.
And Degree will be coming soon. Didi says when he grows up, he wants to write like you do. Yeah.
I think I know Didi. I've been to some of his ministrations, and he's also very good.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
have.
He's
I
allowed,
have.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Didi says, I like you to be my doctor. I won't need any infusions. Yeah, well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's there's always hope somewhere. I believe so. People may say you are too optimistic, like, hey, face reality. Uh eat like eat the last fruit and die, like curse God and die, all of that, give up, like blah blah blah. But there's always hope somewhere. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes when you look back at situations when you thought that was your end and you're alive today, how worse could it ever be? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great one. Well, personally, that's what I tell myself all the time. Like when I'm in a very seemingly huge, unthinkable situation, I'm like, I've been through worse things, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And depression is real. Depression is
Yeah.
real. That piece is beautiful. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay, so let's move right. Hey, it's getting to 8 anyway. Sex 9. Please help me pronounce your name right if I butchered it. Sorry. Hold on 1 second and then I'll unmute you. Yeah,
Hi
welcome once
everyone.
again.
Hi everyone. How's everyone doing?
You're good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Mm, all
All
right.
right. So do I start?
Yeah, can get right into
Okay.
it.
Good. All right. So I'm gonna try to see if I could do two. Mine is not as long as everybody else's. You guys are really great. I'm just gonna be brief about mine. I hope it makes
Sure.
impact. I hope it makes an impact. Now, the first one I wrote a long time ago when I lived in the States, and it's called Imagine. I wrote this when I watched a documentary about the war in Darfur in South Sudan. And, being in America and being African and just seeing what was going on made me write this. And what I wanted to do at the time was I wanted to print words on a t-shirt and try to sell the t-shirt and try to send the proceeds to South Sudan at the time. I never got doing it, but I mean, it's one of my best poems and I like it. So I do it for you guys and I hope you guys like it. It's called Imagine. Ongoing war by the Janjaweed and Darfur, my mind ponders and why, what for? Why the innocent? Blood shed, Africa's largest lands left, blood red from a brutal act of genocide, crisis, and ethnic cleansing, portraying just how life is seen and heard through the eyes and voices of hundreds of thousands of tortured men, raped women, orphan children, and displaced families forced to live like refugees within their very own communities, a clear absence of law, peace, and unity, a corrupt government with the greed to feed the selfish hearts that never bleeds but deprive the people of their basic needs. I'm speaking of a desire for good food to keep the soul clean, water to stay afloat, suit to choke, basic shelter to ease the load, while dreams to hold ethnic value seems like gold. Imagine losing souls with no control, dead bodies on sidewalks, streets, and roads, daily mass murders in cold blood. Oh, Lord, what a sight to behold. Imagine the young extinct before the old, while few left to exist, carry a load of scarred memories as daily miseries daily unfold. Imagine the future of such people and what it holds, a classic case of destiny buried before it grows. Imagine you being the answer to what you know. Imagine me being the answer to what I know. Imagine us being the answer to what we know. Imagine. That's the first one. Thank you, guys. I can't hear anybody. Hello?
Well done, well done. Would you like to hear the responses? A quick one. Let me just unmute everyone.
All right.
All right. So I think reactions, anyone, you're unmuted. You could just quickly give up your reaction.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so I like the rhythm, and the message was beautiful. And it was easy
Thank
to
you. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Before I mute everyone else, everyone again.
Let's go to the second poem. Oh.
Can you guys hear me now? Okay, good. So the second poem is just about hope as well. And I wrote this again a long time ago. It's called Born to Rise. It's not as passionate as the first one, but it goes like this. Born on a land that flows with milk and honey, a land that sits on a broad place. But hills and valleys I face through my journey, and at the top of the hill lies my strong will. But down in the valley is where I write this, shaken, for I know that I was born to rise. See, down in the valley, I'm surrounded by mountains, and even though my escape seems highly uncertain, my voice springs forth like a flowing fountain, and my soul rises. See, like a battered soul, I rise after morning. I rise just like the sun in the morning and exhale the breath of God, but you think I'm yawning as I inhale the new life, for I was born to rise. See, though I might wither like the leaves, you're uprooted like the weeds, I resurface to regain the earth, because within me, life lives, life lives, life lives, life lives. See, you might have held me down for years, betrayed me like Judas, spoken words that murder my body, but my soul remains whole, for I was born to rise. Thank you. I can't hear you guys.
Let me do that again. Let me just unmute everyone now.
Good.
Yeah. Hope you can hear us now.
Thank you, thank you.
That was really
thank
good.
you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I had wanted to ask Era Pass, well.
Thank you.
Where did you get your passion from? Right.
Where did I? Sorry?
Your passion, where did you get your passion?
I can't hear you.
The feedback is really bad. I think we should just mute everyone again.
Thank you.
There we go. Can you hear us now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I was just asking, so where do you get your passion from to create your pieces?
I mean, I guess from anything, like the last one I told you was about what I saw on TV, like I saw a documentary on TV. And I mean, from anything, from like nature, from my personal experiences, from, you know, I'm a personal trainer. And, you know, before I became a personal trainer, I'd always been a writer. From people's experiences, from my experiences, from Africa, because I'm African. You know, I mean, I get from women, from my daughter, I mean, you name it. I don't know if, do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where I get it from, just like with everybody else, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Oh, thanks. Well done, Michelle.
Thank you very much.
Rap as well.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you rap as well? Because I realized there was a lot of passion in the first poem, the Imagine, right?
No, yeah. See, a lot of people ask me that question. I don't. Um,
You don't.
and I guess no, I don't rap. I don't rap. I'm 43 years old. I think my rap, if I was going to be rapping, my rapping days would be long gone. So I don't rap. I think it's just because I think it's just because I spent a lot of the time in the States. So I probably was influenced by like maybe the culture, and maybe that's why I kind of geared towards sounding more like a rapper than a poet. No, I don't rap, and I have no intentions to.
Oh, okay.
Someone wrote, reminds me of Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. That's Rachel.
You know what? It's funny. That's where I got that one from. I heard that. Those two was, the Born to Rise was influenced by Maya Angelou and by Tupac.
Well
So
done.
Tupac was one of my, he had one called Still I Rise. And that's where that came from, so.
Are you like Olomide who believes Tupac is still alive?
No. I mean, no, I don't. No. I don't think he's not. No, he's not. I don't believe he is. I wish he
But his
was,
work
but
is
he's
still
not.
alive, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it's not. And I'm also the type of person that doesn't really believe. I think we transcend. I don't think we die as human beings. I think that's why we're called beings. Beings. We continue to be, even though we're not in the physical form. So Tupac is not alive in physical form, but he's still very much alive in the spirit.
Okay. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very interesting. I had wanted to ask more questions, but anyway, let's move on. We may come back
I'm
when
ready
there's
to answer
enough
if you want.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
All
that
right, no
okay?
problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can ask me the questions you want to ask me now.
All right.
I mean, if you choose.
I was asking, do you think from the little I've gotten to know, you listen to a bit of rap, hip hop? Do you?
Actually, I do. But I mean, like I told you, like I lived in America for quite a while, so I was influenced by that. But I don't sing. I can't sing to save my life. I just do spoken word, like, and I don't even do this on a regular. I used to do it on a regular, but as you get older, all the things take priority, and it's not, I don't make money from it, and you can't be a certain age and not be making money just writing. So it's in my spare time I do this. I'm actually writing a book as well, so maybe, but no, I don't. But I don't sing.
Okay, my question was, do you still believe there's still great poets in the music industry, especially with the hip hop genre?
Oh yeah.
You think
Very
there are
much so.
still poets amongst them?
There are loads of poets. A lot of artists are actually poets. Music is poetry without the sound. That's all it is. So Tupac's a poet. I think what's his name? He was a poet. Jay-Z is a poet. I mean, Eminem is a poet.
In
Kendrick
today's
Lamar
music,
is a
who would you?
Kendrick Lamar is a poet. What's that guy's name? J. Cole is a poet.
Thank you. My work is done here.
J. Cole is a poet. Common is a poet.
Yeah. Almost look like, come on, you almost look like Common.
Yeah, I kind of get that as well. I get that quite often. I think that's the compliment.
Yeah, Isaac says Lil Wayne. Isaac really
Lil Wayne.
Yeah. I'm sure he's just saying it. I'm like, Isaac, really?
Nah, man. Nah, man. So I mean, there are loads of other people, other artists or poets. Mos Def is a poet. Is a great poet. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear
Yeah, I
you.
said Mos Def. Mos Def is a poet.
Oh.
Nas is a poet. Nas is a great poet. So there's still them. There's still. I mean, there are loads of people that, loads of artists now that like just talk a lot of trash that are not. You know, they make music just for the commercial purposes. But there's still loads of people out there that make music that makes sense, that people can relate to and can impact lives.
Yeah.
And I do listen to them.
Yeah, I believe so too. You know, when Marie, I don't know if you listened, Marie earlier was talking about how she thinks you should still do what you find a lot of fulfillment doing, even if it doesn't bring in the cash. Yeah, and I was trying to tell her that, you know, it doesn't make so much sense. It doesn't fit into reality because you need to make some money and all of that. From what you are saying, you mentioned you are writing a book.
Yes, I'm writing a book of poems. I've been told to write it, and yes, so a book of poems. It's called Life, Love, and Lessons. Actually, I've done it. It's called Life, Love, and Lessons.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a book of poems. I have maybe over 400 poems I've written. So I'm just going to put a few of them together about that fit into my life. You know, my love life, and you know the lessons that I've learned out of life. And hopefully, somebody can make sense out of it. And, you know.
All right. Kindly let us know. Let us whenever it's out. We would love to have a look.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a look and support me.
Oh, definitely support you. Support you, absolutely.
Just have a look. You got to
support me. No, yeah, support you.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so let's get
cool.
to the next. All right.
So
we have G.O. Benny. G.O. Benny. Hold on, I'll mute you very soon. Normally I have a different name here. Okay. Hi, Gio Benny. Oh.
Okay, so hi.
Hi.
You can hear me, right?
That's right.
Okay. So first of all, I really enjoyed everybody's pieces, and I think it's been amazing. Yeah. I really didn't know how this was going to go, so I'm really excited. And
short notice, and
well, yes. Well, yes. Well, yes. And no, it's not my network that's repeating this. I'm just saying this over and over again. Yes.
I know. Forgive me, but thank you so much for jumping on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. So I would there's some parts that I didn't get internalized, so my eyes would be going this way. Don't worry, I'm not on drugs. So let's see how that is. Okay. All right. So I'm actually excited. So I'm just trying to calm down a bit. And if you can't hear me, just let me know. All right. Okay. See, it's perfectly understandable that my burst of energy makes you uncomfortable, that my hyperactivity disorients the sanity that you are pretending to live in. It's okay if you think I'm not okay because I can't be still. And I understand why you don't understand why I can't stop smiling. I can't. Be still. Be still and know that He's God. Be still and know that He's God. That is such a confusing instruction. Be still and know that he's God. Because when you know that he's God, you cannot be still. It's like the very essence of his presence sets your spirit on fire. The heat energizes your soul and electrifies you, and it will shock you what you can do if you know that he is God. It's like a natural response of every single cell in your body to the one that created it. It's like a cancer. You can't control it. It infiltrates your very being and spreads like wildfire through your tissue. Your organs pave way till your entire body shouts hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's like a tachycardia. My heart beats so fast beyond the speed limit. I get arrested, cardiac arrested, because my heart cannot rest when the thought of him enters the chest with just one breath. My spirit says, my heart, how many beats? My cause is my can't make it. He's my everything. I'm sorry. Forgive the rush. And before people think that I was speaking in new tongues, let me repeat this. I said, in just one breath, my spirit sings, my heart in harmony beats, my soul continues. The music, none can compare. They can never dare to challenge the love that Jesus and I share. He's my everything. I inhale him. He's my inspiration, my very motivation for doing all things. You see, worship is a reflex action to God's very person. It's not a gift to the one who gifts you with his goodness. So Lord, I'll worship you as long as I have breath. You don't have to impress me. You don't have to play Santa Claus. Hello, can you hear me? Sorry, my phone just... You don't have to impress me. You don't have to play Santa Claus. I don't need to hear that you're in town before I become jolly, holy God. You mean so much to me. I'll deck the halls with bowls of praise. I'll jingle my vocal cords to give you praise because you mean so much. When you know that he is God, you cannot be still. When he fills you, the weight of his glory becomes too heavy for your feet to carry. So you have no choice but to lie flat when you face the King of Kings and you behold his beauty. You see, with God, you can't stay neutral. His majesty drives me crazy, and there's nothing too crazy you can do for him in worship, because he himself said he'll turn stones and make them worship him if you don't. When you know him, you cannot help but worship Elohim. Your praise becomes limitless. You know why? Because you're worshiping El Shaddai, the Adonai. When the storms of life, just like this one, tries to cloud your vision, you can rain down God's presence when you hail him. When times get rough and life gets hot, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, hold on to your faith and do not let it go. Worship becomes the fourth man in your fiery furnace. It shifts your attention off the flames, the one whose eyes are like flames of fire. And once your attention is on God, he envelopes you in the heat. Sorry, my phone. Focusing on God not only makes unpleasant situations bearable, it makes them comfortable. Focusing on God doesn't only make certain situations like this bearable, it makes them comfortable. So whatever is pure and true and holy and kind, let these things keep playing in the cinema of your mind. Do not pause to take a snapshot of the troubles around you. Rather rewind to these things that are pure and holy and kind. Play back on Jesus. Speaking of his greatness and worship keeps your mind stayed on him, and a mind that stayed on him is kept in perfect peace. So open your heart. Allow God to sweep you off your feet. Even when the atmosphere isn't worshiping enough, be still and know that he's God. But once you know that he's God, do not remain still. Worship. Even when time comes to a standstill, be still and know that God stands with you. God bless you. That's it.
Ooh, my goodness. That is purely amazing. Just amazing. Delivery on point, content on point, everything on point. Well done. I'll quickly unmute as many as I could to get a reaction.
Who's that?
Not me.
That was very good. Very good.
Marvel, that was not me. I mean, this is not me. That
Yeah, so this is administration.
was fantastic.
D.O. Benny.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry that my phone did not make me,
Don't worry. The devil is
Don't
alive.
worry, your phone didn't want you to be great, but you now you're great right now. My God.
Thank you guys so much. God bless you.
So you got
Yeah, go ahead, Lisa. About this by hand. As you can see, it's in Excel. I tried to do it.
Let me read what we have there.
It got really confused because the answers were like all the same. you know what I mean? Each person's name maybe in there 5 or 6 times, and it got very confused. So I had to copy paste, and then anyway, I do, but the facts will still go to somebody. So we'll do our best. But I'm waiting for John and David to turn it over before I take off. I didn't know if you guys wanted to go over something since you're here.
Yeah, anyone else would like to talk so that I unmute you? I thought Winnie was talking, but it wasn't. Okay. Well done once again, G.O. Benny. I'll surely come around and find the meaning of the G.O. I don't
Oh, yeah,
know
with your money,
why.
obviously.
I don't know why. I'm very interested in finding the meaning of those initials. But Mabel, what's your full name anyway?
Amabio Philomena Benny. That's my name.
Where's the G.O.?
I said I was going to add it when, Auntie, I said I was going to add it when I can take care of myself. I think it's more of my name than all my other names. So.
Okay. I think I get where you're coming from. Okay. So Didi says God's own Benny.
Who's that?
Our next speaker.
That's not
He's
true.
called.
That's not true. I mean, please.
I guess that's his understanding.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
his understanding. That's false. That's extremely false.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, I think we can all see from the chat box anything that I missed. Kindly read it. And then we have welcome, DeGray.
Hello.
Welcome. God's own Benny, right?
Please, no.
God's
No.
own Benny. God's own Benny.
I don't know. Can you inflict punishments on through the internet? Is it possible?
We are sorry, man.
We accept Momo.
Okay.
All right. You can give us a brief introduction of your piece, its title,
Okay.
and then let's get right into it.
Okay, so hi everyone. Can everyone hear me? Actually, can everyone hear me? Okay, thank you. So I have 2 pieces. Okay, the first one I wrote today, and then and then the second one I wrote when I started spoken word. So that's in 2014. The first one is okay. So Michelle told me about what we're going to do today and how we're going to talk about hope, especially in this period of the coronavirus keeping everyone in isolation and everything. And so I decided to write something. I mean, whatever questions come after, I'll answer. So I'll just go ahead with the piece and then you listen. So this is A Lion in the Den of Daniels. Okay. So let's go. There I stood, the elephants in the room, a much smaller beast but more elegant. They stood around me as though they were waiting for me to pounce upon them, their arms protected, faces hiding behind walls. I felt like an inmate but an outcast. I was smart. Despite the muffled sounds like roars, I understood their language. There I stood. Per decree, I was put here. In my nature, I went beyond what was required. How this happened, I have no idea. In my desire to be a more friendly beast, I probably got too social. These were the clean ones. They accepted, or that's how I felt. This is my cage, Daniel's den. If I am released, they fear many more will become beasts. I am a statistic, zeros and ones, data that will not be lost. I pray they accept me. They speak in a soft tone, they do not attack. Now it feels like sunset as the shadows fall, but I'll bounce back with the sun's rise. In the morning, there shall be no morning, for I will be clean like these ones. And staying locked up won't be prison, but protection. To all the lions in the den of Daniels, we will bounce back with a roar. Stay strong, stay safe. This won't end us. So that's the first piece. A lion in the den
Well
of Daniels.
done, well done, well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Could you please explain a little bit about that?
Okay, so I'm a Christian poet. Okay, so everything I do is just everything I do has to do with Jesus, Christianity. So we all know the story. Most of us know the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Now, lions are expected to attack Daniel. That was what we all expected, that the lions would attack Daniel. But here we are reversing with a lion in the den of Daniels, where Daniels are the safe people and the lion is the infected person, ideally, in a sense. So the whole story is just someone who is infected by the coronavirus and how he
And
feels
he is
stigmatized.
caged.
Yes, and how he feels stigmatized. And the faces hiding behind the walls are those wearing the masks and everything around him who are supposed to help him in quarantine. So it's just, I think the whole story just unfolds on how he feels left, how everybody is safe and he is not, but how he knows we'll all bounce back from this, how he's just zeros and ones, how they always announce that Ghana has 2,000 cases, but they don't mention your name because you're a statistic. Then, but you believe your data that will not be lost, you will not die, you will bounce back from this. And so it's just a message of encouragement to everyone out there who is probably infected, and they should know that they should just stay strong, because when the sun rises in the morning, they will be clean like everyone else, and they are being locked up will no longer be prison or to prevent others from getting infected. It will be protection so that they do not get reinfected. So yeah, that's basically the whole story behind the first piece. And then
That's hopeful.
yeah.
Brings in a lot of hope.
Yes. So should I just go ahead with the second piece?
Exactly.
Okay, so the
Your
second
first piece ever, right?
No, not my first piece ever, but I wrote it in my first year.
Okay.
Yeah, in my first year in December. So I think December 2014, I had a few friends who were losing their parents. Like, you hear the story of my dad is dead, my mom is dead. It was a confusing moment, you know.
Please allow things.
Some people not. So it's just friends hearing, oh, my dad is dead and all of that. So I decided to write this piece. I'm fed up. So I'll just go straight into it. I don't want to bore you with too much talk. So, you said you always by my side. Wanna feel you by my side. That you never leave me, never will forsake me. Sometimes I get fed up. Really, I guess I'm fed up. I have no idea what to tell that little girl standing at the gate. Since 2 p.m., she has been waiting for her daddy there. He left the house with a smile on his face. Promise you buy her something. What possible explanation can I give to a 7-year-old girl why her dad is never coming back? He was on his way home. He had called to confirm, but the freeway wasn't free after all. The sirens got home before him, the red and blue lights. He was enslaved by death, a bondage he could not escape from. How do I break the chain of conversation I'm having with her? I don't want a young mind locked behind bars of memories that passed in a flash. Her daddy was a superhero. How do I comfort her with words she can never understand? I wish I could make her pain easier to bear. The man who carried her on his bare back never came back. Home is where the heart is, and hers went with her daddy. Hers went with her daddy. How do I tell her he has been called home, run to the final base, he was someplace safe? I have her here, wiping the tears in my shirt, covering my torn heart, worn out and thoroughly misplaced. I have become fed up. I'm fed up. We're telling her that God will take care of her. There's a reason her daddy had to go. Believe me, God knows best has become an euphemism to lessen the pain of death and make it more pleasant to bear. How can I explain to a 7-year-old why her daddy will never come back? Honestly, I'm fed up. They tried to wake her up, but she wouldn't budge. She had said good night and sweet dreams the night before. Now she was in a wonderland she couldn't escape from. Her alarm had malfunctioned because her brain never rang to the reality around her. She was resting in peace with a smile on her face, but she couldn't express the joy on the other side in this place. Her family kept asking why. Why did she leave without saying goodbye? 3 kids she left behind, single mother, who will comfort them. I could only master a few words. God will not give you a challenge you cannot handle. Honestly, I'm fed up. I'm tired of telling them words I can barely understand. How do I tell them to keep trusting in God? They had all gone off for a day of fun. Friends, hand in hand, arm in arm. 10 went away, but only 8 returned. They swam too far towards Hades. A life jacket couldn't even preserve the life they so sought to keep. They couldn't be rescued. At least they waved goodbye. Or at least their hands above the surface of the waves that rolled over them. Those hands that were reaching out for help, calling for anyone to hold them. I even heard one scream out for Jesus, but he couldn't be rescued. A group in tears because they had lost. What gain could possibly be in death? All their lives, I and a few others have made them believe. We have made them believe that God will always be by their side. Everyone is meant to die one day, but why now? I am fed up with what I know, what they know I will say. God knows best. Really, I am fed up. They ask me questions and I always have one answer. Why did they die? Does Jesus really love me? Did she deserve to die? She served God faithfully. Why did he let her go? Why him and why her? He made me understand in his word that I will never leave nor forsake you. My ways are not your ways. You will always provide no matter what. Sometimes I want a clearer understanding so I can explain your ways to those who grieve. I want a better word of warmth for those who have experienced the cold touch of death. But I myself have never understood, and I know I won't. To the questions I have been asked, I have no idea why they died, why they are dying, and why they will die. I do not understand the ways of God, but I know they are the best for us all. Those of us who have lost a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, a wife, or a husband, God loves you. If I lose my mom, if I lose my dad, I know that I still have Jesus. Because no matter how fed up I am, no matter how cliche I may sound, the love of God is greater than the love that others you lost could ever show you. And no matter how fed up I am, and how I do not understand these words myself, all I know is that God knows best. And it is up to me. Thank you.
Well done.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was trying to take.
Singing always acts in the except Kevin Spacey.
I think that's
Yeah.
good.
Like a character.
Well done. That was good.
God bless you.
That was very good. Very good. Well done.
God bless you.
That's wow.
I can't. I couldn't really hear anything. So I think the feedback was.
You couldn't hear, right?
Yeah, for a while.
Because
There's some
it
feedback.
was it's a lot of people, right? So when I unmute everyone, it sounds like a whole bunch of noise. So I'll just unmute a couple of people, like 5, then I'll go on to the next 5. So I'm unmuting the A's. If your name starts with an A, I'll unmute you. If you have something to say, you can say it.
Oh, degree. That was a very good one.
God bless you,
Yeah.
sir.
Very, very good. I've seen you perform at Chocolate Talk, Kolebu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie, they try. God bless
God
you.
bless. God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
And God bless you for also the fact that you try to bring it the craft, train others also in the craft. Yeah. In fact, he tries to inspire me to write. So thank you.
Start writing.
I'll try. I'm trying to unmute just a few people. Oh goodness, it's not unmuting.
Hi, brother. How is it going?
Brother Ellie, I'm fine, sir.
That was amazing. Actually, that was amazing, and
God bless you. Thank
especially so when we hear people like as talented as you, not just sticking to the poetry part of it, but you're trying to blend your other craft, as in the song. You're bringing in like a song to
Okay.
blend poetry. I think it's a great thing. It's a very beautiful thing. Not many people really do that. So, I mean, you are really using your potentials. God bless you so much.
God
When I
bless
grew up,
you.
Thank
Thank you.
I've actually seen great people, and I'm really humbled. And I think we should do a cipher, a selfie yourself, and Go, another great.
God's own Benny, yes.
Yes, I think we should do like a
So come and cut your head off.
yeah, so a cipher. So let's try and see how we can do it.
Yeah. And definitely, I think we can also link up with the other people who are not in Ghana. I can help out, reach out to them. I'm sure they'll so much be happy to join.
It's possible you could put us in a group so that we could start talking and all that. Like you could put us in a group. You have contacts and all that, so you could try something.
Just a head nod.
Sure.
Okay, Emma.
30 across.
Anyone else? Should I unmute anyone else?
Philip, but I really wanted to put John also.
It's really Philip, yeah. Yeah, I practically had to stop Philip from the old department. Like every time I see his energy drink, I will hide it. Because he's so...
All right. Yes, and if you were wondering, one of the songs he was singing is called By My Side by Love Troy. By Love Troy. You could find it on YouTube. I think other music platforms too. I have always loved that song till today. It's a very nice one. I don't know who wrote it, but I think it's a nice one. By My Side.
You wrote it.
Did you write it?
We are Love Troy.
Okay. Yeah.
So we wrote it.
Okay. Any last words?
From me, I'm done. By any questions, I would answer or something. I don't know.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
You know, yes, I get it. You're very Christian inspired, all of that. Have you ever thought of doing non-Christian stuff?
No, actually not.
Never thought about it, had the
So, I mean, I've had offers to do stuff, but I just, it's not what I do. So it's difficult to write. If it's not, I feel maybe, I don't know. It's just, I've just not tried anything else. And I also feel I'm not inspired in other directions. So I just don't do it. I mean, if it's not Christian, I won't do it. If it's a collaboration and it's not Jesus, I won't do it. So that's just.
But when I say non-Christian, I'm not talking about wow.
I know.
I'm just.
Yeah, not against. I'm just saying. I tell Bible stories. So if it is not a Bible story, I won't do it. Yes. So it's not like maybe talking about. I mean, probably if the need arises, or maybe I have to talk about peace or something, it will still. I'll talk about peace, but then it will have Jesus in it. That's just So I mean, any
same question for Ali. Ali Darima.
Hi.
Have you thought about going just a piece or a particular work collaboration with some other poets, something non-Christian? I know you do Christian stuff. That's why I'm asking you the same question.
Okay, so I think I've got some offers in the past. And it was the person came to me, was talking to me. Okay, I hear you are one of the and so I wanted to do something sensual. And there's the moment I heard those words, I'm like, that is not my lane.
I like to hear those words because that way I can understand you better.
So she was saying that she wants me to write something, and it's not a Christian. It's not a Christian program. It's something for the secular world. And she was asking that I write something sensual, arouse, like something to arouse. And I mean, it's I mean, those things we find out there. And so I saw that the theme which she was giving me wasn't in line with the vision and the direction that God is leading me. So even though, I mean, she wanted to really pay a huge money because she's not Ghanaian, she came from the outside, and so she understood that she had to pay me a lot. But I decided against it. So yeah, we get a lot of things like that. But I've done spoken word online, but I still make sure that I center around God, and I don't go all the
Sorry about that. I think some
Uh,
mics were unmuted.
yeah, Michelle.
I'm trying to mute Phil and Michael.
Um, Michelle.
Yes, Chidi.
I just want to chip in something. Okay, so
All right.
not to say, okay, so this is not to say that what other people do is wrong or anything. I respect what everybody does in terms of their poetry and everything. It's just I feel if I'm a plumber, I have no business working in the electrical field, and so I know what I'm called to do. And so I've ministered at secular programs, okay, programs that are not Christian. I've ministered there and all of that, but I always just stick to what I know my expertise is, and I mean, everywhere. I mean, people deserve to hear the word everywhere, okay. But there was this one time, I'm not going to name the program because it's a big program, and I was on bill. I was rehearsing with them and everything. I know I have this piece. Have you heard my story? And then they asked, and that was about the time Castro went missing or something. And the piece is quite emotional. The piece is quite emotional. And what they wanted me to do was to minister the emotional piece so they could come in when the atmosphere is set and present something to Castro, like, or do a tribute to Castro. When I heard it, I didn't do it anymore because that's not what my piece is for. So I didn't go on stage. I didn't minister. It is not to say everybody who's going to minister was wrong, but that is what they do. And this is what I do. And I don't change my standards. I don't change what I do for anybody. It's not about, I mean, of course, we get it that I work. Some of us work. So it's not about money necessarily. It's a hobby. And it's what I love.
Also, the offers. You see, as Ellie was saying, I realize more offers come when it's worldly.
Obviously.
Or bigger offers.
Yes. Obviously, more offers to come, bigger offers to come. But this is the thing. What do you believe in? Because if using a simple example, if I believe in one political party, no matter how much money another political party brings, I should not change my ideas once I follow their policies. So this to me is my political party, and I'm not changing it because I believe in their policies. So that's just an analogy. I mean, you can come with whatever money, and you can come. I mean, if this is what I do, and I feel led to do whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. But if I'm not led, and so far I've not been led to do a lot of things, so that's just me in my own craft.
Yeah, at the end is the passion, right? What drives you?
Yes, it's not about you, it's about me. It's not about your program, it's about me. This after I leave, it's still Degree. It's not so and so platform, it's Degree. That's what I'll be known for, that's what I'll be remembered for. That's what Jesus will be remembered for. So yeah.
Yeah, well said, well said.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Degree? We have Degree on the line, Eddie the Rima, 96.
Gio Benny.
Oh, 69. Gio Benny, Kobia Sophie. Any questions for them? And it's coming through. Okay. Then we should be wrapping up then.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank you too, Michelle.
Thank you all for showing up, showing out, showing us that yes, today we will come, we'll go and learn and come. Yeah. And poetry, I think, is even in our everyday lives. There's poetry all around us. Keep exploring, bringing out the best in us. Yeah. And seeking to make our environment a better place after all. Because as someone was telling a Sophie how he would like him to just speak his word, and he thinks he will get healed by that and not even ministering Jack. So whatever you find doing, whatever it is that you are doing, I think you should include passion, because this whole poetry thing, at the bottom of it all, I think it's passion. Yes. Putting your passion, and then that's your poetry made up. Yeah. Yeah. Hannah, any words for us?
Excellent. Oh my gosh, we have so much talent. We have to do this again. We have to do this again. We recorded.
Yeah.
And so if anybody wants to get the full recording, let us know. We'll send it to you, or Michelle will send it to you. Otherwise, amazing, amazing. Well done. I'm so impressed. Well done, Michelle. Fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. It's sad to say, but we have to go. And if I think I took a bit more than the 2 hours, about 10 minutes more. Please forgive me. I tried to work in the 2 hours as much as possible, but sometimes we go beyond that. Thanks for your patience, your time, your effort. It's a lot. It's a lot you have input over here. My prayer is that the Lord Himself replaces everything that you have lost, and He will open doors for you. And this passion of yours will grow even more. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Mr. Michelle.
Okay. See you next week. Hold on. So next week we have, yes, our finance session. The topic is finance A to Z. It's basically the little things that you may not understand, especially when you get your newsletter from the bank and then they are quoting a lot of business terms you don't understand. Personally, sometimes I find it hard to understand because of my background. So our next session is finance A to Z. I'll send the flyers around. We'll be having our own Isaac Newton Aka, yes, leaders, along with Stephanie. And so, and also I'll be sending around like a simple survey to find out more things that you'd like to learn, so that we incorporate it into the session.
Right.
Yes, like I said, it's finance A to Z.
For the month of May, give them a rundown.
The lineup.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So for next week is 7th of May. Like I said, is the financial literacy Thursday, and that's titled Finance A to Z. The details will follow. And then the next one is Ministry of Healing. So that one will be chaired by Dr. Morrison. Some of us have experienced Dr. Morrison. He's a medical doctor and a prophet, and he's also graced with the gift of healing. He'll be here to chat a little bit about healing, the whole healing ministry, healing school, everything. We'll go through that. That's going to be on the 14th of May. Then 21st May, we'll have more like part 2 of the healing ministry. That's survivors and testimonials time. We have some people who have recovered from the COVID-19, recovered from many other illnesses, who have experienced the touch of God, yes, firsthand. We'll have them in our midst to share their story and everything about healing, yes. And then the following session is going to be on, we're going to learn something about pitching skills, so that we learn how to sell our business in the little opportunity we get, the little time we get. So it's going to be Sell Your Business Thursday. And then the following is going to be insurance, more insurance, life insurance, assets insurance, like your car, your business. You're going to learn, understand what it means to insure something. And then the following is going to be about social structures and social security. It will also in line with insurance and things of the sort. Yes. So the final details will follow on our WhatsApp page. Again, let me put my number here. Oh, I'm finding it difficult to. It's not going to come through. I typed my number earlier. I hope it's still there. If you don't have my number, hopefully you have someone who invited you's number. Just tell the person to tell me, or the person can just give you my WhatsApp number and I'll add you to our WhatsApp page.
Their number on now, isn't it? If they add their number.
Unfortunately, I happen to have pressed on something on the laptop and now I can't type. I don't know what I did.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Well, if you add it,
I don't know what I did.
If you want to be added to the group.
Yes. So that I add you to the group and then you get the information about our following meetings as and when they unfold.
Yeah.
Yes. Any questions, anyone? I'm so happy today. Thank you all. Thank you so much for blessing my soul.
Yeah.
My soul is full.
Wow. Thank you all. Okay, we got some numbers here. I'll send them. Okay, that's Michelle. Is that Michelle's number?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Didi. That's it.
Yeah. So please keep that number and WhatsApp her if you want to be added to the group, so you're aware of all the upcoming events. Thank you.
Okay. Let's say bye.
Stay blessed, stay safe.
Safe.